Hello, and welcome back to the Follow Your Spark podcast. I am so excited to share today's incredible guest with you, Julie Reisler. And before I get into who this incredible woman is, I want to share a little bit more about what this episode is all about. So, if you are at a point in your life where you've been thinking about wanting to make a change or a shift in your career, and you've been wanting to do more personal development work or serve people in a different way, and you've really been called to help them transform their lives, this conversation is going to be for you. So, today we're going to be talking all about coach certification training and if this is something that you want to explore or not. Basically, I've been thinking about for someone who's been thinking about coaching, wanting to explore coaching more, what you might be thinking about, how you would know if coach certification training is for you, which one to choose, which one to invest in. We're going to talk about all of that today. And maybe even you don't want to do this for work, but you want to explore this modality more for yourself. Stick around. This is going to be a really juicy conversation for you too. So, to introduce today's guest to you, Julie Reisler is across the screen from me, and Julie is the founder of the Intuitive Life Designer Coach Academy, an incredible life coaching certification program. She is also an author, a speaker, an intuitive, a psychic medium, and she is the host of an incredible podcast called The You Is You, which has over 40,000 subscribers on YouTube. And she interviews all kinds of incredible people, spiritual leaders, psychic mediums, CEOs, entrepreneurs. Basically, Julie Reisler is a light in this world and such a gift in my life, and I cannot wait to share her with you. So, Julie, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Gina. I feel all lit up by that intro. Like I am so grateful for you and the spark you're creating and the light you are radiating and what we're here to do to help
Thank
others.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have had the honor of being in a mentor coach in Julie's life coaching certification program. I also went through it myself back in 2020. So I absolutely love it. And I want to start by just talking a little bit more about Julie, how did you get into coaching in the first place? How long have you been doing this? Like what led you to this industry?
Yeah. So I'll give the shortened version because there's the whole we could be here for 3 hours. But what I will say is I'm a big believer that often the biggest challenges we go through, the biggest messes we face, that idea that the message is in the mess, right? So for me, having gone through a major spiritual awakening moment, which was very challenging and looked like a marriage ending a career, health breakdown. It was a really challenging time about 15 years ago. And I ended up going into a personal growth program where I got to work with a coach that changed my life, literally. And I was a psychology major. I always knew I wanted to help people. I love counseling and I love therapy. I wanted to do something that was a little more focused on present and future, not as much on the past. And I just fell in love with the transformation I experienced. And I ended up coaching in this program. And then by chance or not chance, synchronicity, one of my friends in the program said, Julie, you've got to do this. And there's a new program coming. This was years ago before coaching was known. And I ended up going and getting my master's degree in this work from mind body science integrative approach. And never looked back, Gina. Honestly, I knew in my heart, this was like, it didn't make sense, right? People were like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to be coaching. It wasn't what it is today, right? I remember leaving my job, single parent. People thought, my friends and colleagues were supportive, but also, have you lost your mind? What are you doing? And I knew intuitively this work is so miraculous, powerful healing, and it changed my life. So it started that way. I've been coaching over 15 years. I've had my business for 11. And I've been a coach and I'm also a professor at Georgetown University in their coaching program. And right at the turn of the shutdown of everything, my intuition, I woke up and I just heard, you must start a coaching certification now. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't play around with that voice anymore. I do as much of life as humanly possible by it because it has never steered me wrong. And it's a big reason why intuition is such an important part of what I teach in coaching.
Yeah, I love that. To share a little bit about how I got into coaching. And I think this is useful to share because if you're listening to this, maybe you hear something that resonates with you. That for me too, I was always interested in psychology. It was my minor in college. And I ended up at Lululemon working there for almost 10 years. And they are really invested in coaching, in personal development, in goal setting. So that was my first taste and introduction of coaching. And similarly, I had transformative experiences in my own life. I got to develop my teams through that modality. And finally, I was like, this is my favorite part of my work. So, how do I do more of this and actually build a business where I get to support people every single day and help them transform their lives? And that's when I started exploring, okay, how can I actually build a business with this work? And I went through your program in 2020 and started exploring what that could look like for me. So if you find yourself naturally drawn to supporting people, maybe just in your personal life, or maybe you're already doing work in a seemingly unrelated field or modality, but you're helping people and that really lights you up and you want to explore what's another skill set or level that you can add to that, coaching could be a really transformative tool to add to your toolbox.
Absolutely. And I think I would add, if I can add really quickly,
Mhm.
one of the things I know for me in a world that can seem like there's a lot happening in darkness, what is so special about this modality is if you're somebody who really truly sees the best in others. I know for me, getting a feel of somebody's higher self, of their highest vision, fulfilling their dreams, their purpose. I don't know anything else that is so, it feels so good to help others to do that and to feel fulfilled. And the thing is, it works both ways. So seeing the best in others, if people come to you naturally, they share with you. You're the person at the airport, and all of a sudden they're talking to you on the seat next to you about their life. That if you're that person, you know, or people feel comfortable with you to share, that's a sign, that's an indication. And this is about helping others to really step into their highest version of themselves. Now, what also happens is as a coach and as you get that training how to do that, what I found is it's become the foundation for how I live my life. And so stepping
Mhm.
into my highest purpose. So it really works both ways because of course, you know, how we are on the inside is what we're on the outside. So it's truly about changing the world one human and often more than one at a time, depending on what kind of coaching you do.
Absolutely. And I joke that entrepreneurship and coaching has been the biggest personal growth journey I've ever been on. Because in order to coach, like anything, you have to practice what you preach. So if I'm not in a constant state of transformation, if I'm not overcoming my own obstacles, it's going to be really hard for me to support other people to overcome theirs. So by me signing up for this path, I am putting myself in that constant state of growth, that constant state of transformation. So if you are a junkie for that, if you're someone who always loves to be growing and expanding, this will be a catalyst for you personally, as well as for your ability to support and serve other people.
I love that you brought that up, Gina. And I think something that can come up often is like, how do I know? There's a lot of different kinds of programs out there, and there's a lot of different kinds of ways to grow. And the thing that
Mhm.
I found with coaching, and it could have different words to it. I feel like you could call a coach a healer, a miracle worker. Seriously, miracles are shifts in perspective. That's what we do. It's the ability to learn how to listen, which most people are starving from, to hold space. And of course, as you learn to do that with others, you said it, you learn to do it with yourself. It's the kind of work that it never feels like work. It never feels like work. It is a constant like there are times I just finished actually meeting with a client who I was like thanking her because it's such an honor. It's such an honor to hold space and learn how to use the framework to help somebody to truly think about the dream you or our listeners might have. Actually help someone to birth that dream. That's holy. That's sacred. I truly, I mean, that comes from our soul, our intuition, and
Mhm.
part of what most of us don't know how to do is listen and trust and tune into intuition, which is a big component of this program. And what I believe is really is the piece that's missing. We are conditioned
Mhm.
not to focus on it, trust it, and I actually think that's where all of the magic and the guidance is.
Yeah, I love it. And before we get into more kind of like specifics of your program, I would love to hear too. You've been in this industry for 15 years. What have you noticed as the industry is changing And why do you think this is a good industry to get into at this moment?
So, look, I think the proof is in the pudding in that coaching has absolutely exploded and expanded in the last 10 years, hands down. When I started, people were like, "What are you doing?" Now, I mean, very few people don't know what a coach is. In fact, most, I think, know what it is, have a coach, have worked with different kinds of coaches. It works. It is based in the way I was trained is based in a positive psychology model, which we know that kind of foundation where the book Mindset, right, by Carol Dweck, where you look at growth mindset versus fixed. Coaching is all about a growth mindset. How do you shift from where you are to where you want to be and do that in a way that's supported and that's tapping into something greater? It has so many aspects to it that are encouraging and supportive. And so it's working. You can see this because companies, I've worked with the military and the government and companies, they're hiring, bringing in coaches. Government would not be hiring coaches if this was not a workable model. Companies, the same thing, individuals. So that is fantastic. It's growing and it's only going to continue to grow. I think, and I don't know that you asked this, but I'll just share. I think we also have to understand it's a little bit of a Wild West situation, a little bit. So luckily for me, I was trained. I got a master's degree. I had incredible teachers, professors training. I still do that at Georgetown. I used to teach at my school. There is a training to this. And what I do see, and I'm not saying you can't be a natural coach and not have training, but to say that you're a coach and not be trained is like saying I'm a therapist and not having gone to school. It's you're going into people's energy, you are going into their belief system. There's a lot that you're doing that is beyond just what it seems like. It's very powerful work. I think it's healing work. And so having a framework and training is crucial. And I've seen it because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been training people now over 12 years, and our program now getting into the 13th cohort. There's a confidence, there's a trust, there's a efficacy, and there's an integrity to having a training.
Yeah. So if you could kind of point to or summarize the most important skills that you think it takes for someone to be successful as a coach, what might that be? And one of them I'm hearing is like the skill of coaching. You have to be proficient in your craft. And there are a lot of different coach certification programs. We're going to talk about this one and how to also think about and choose which program might be right for you. So there's that skill of coaching. What else do you think leads to someone being able to be a successful coach? Because, like you said, it is kind of the Wild West, and there is no real barrier for entry. Anyone can just start an Instagram channel today and say, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
But what do you think it actually takes to be successful and build like a viable career as a coach?
Yes. Well, I'm going to actually say first what you don't have to worry about, what you don't need, because this comes up a lot. You don't have to have your life all figured out. You do not have to be fully healed because I'm sorry, but we are all one breath at a time figuring it out and learning and growing. So what am I saying? That's an open growth mindset, openness to learn, to try something new. I think the desire to help people, the true intention and desire to help others be their best, to see their best. Coaching is not about giving advice. Many people don't know that's consulting. So being willing to learn a new methodology, being open, being curious. If you're just curious about people and how to help them grow and shift, and the desire to learn is huge. I would say also wanting to build your presence, your ability to hear as a therapist would in some ways, like being able to hear what's really going on, which by the way is helpful for you as the individual because you learn how to hear what's going on with yourself. So being willing and open to really what's happening with the person that may be not being said. I think curiosity is huge. I think a sense of seeing the best in other people and wanting to champion others to win. I don't love the word win, but I would say to succeed, to do well, to manifest their dreams and goals. If that's feeling like you, if you're leaning in, if you're somebody people come to naturally and you love being that person that again sees the best and can help somebody, be of service. And maybe you've gone through something that's really challenging, whether it's a health crisis or around relationships or as a single parent or losing somebody or nutrition based, having that desire to help others in that realm can also be something to pay attention to. And this modality is really special because, again, it's not based on necessarily giving advice, but it is based on helping the other person to uncover their highest self, their wisdom, their intuition, their guidance. It's very
Mhm.
powerful. So
Mhm.
I would say all of that, but you do not, the fallacy is, oh gosh, I don't have my life together. You do not have to have your whole life together. And that's never going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, therapists often have therapists. I will always have a coach. It is so beneficial to have someone to be able to support each of us. And like Julie said, we're never done. We're always in this state of learning and growth. And that's the benefit of training, is that you have this modality that no matter what's going on in your life, you have the tools and the structure to be able to host a coaching call, to support your clients through this work, no matter what is going on in your own life. And I also want to share something that's coming up for me, and I would be curious to hear your perspective on this. One thing that I think about in entrepreneurship, that it still seems like something most people are used to, the concept of, okay, I go to college, I pay for college. That feels like a more familiar thing to pay for. And they might be willing to pay $50,000, $100,000 for college. And then when they think about going down an entrepreneurial path or even coaching, it's like, well, I could probably coach people. Like, do I really need a certification, or do I really need to invest in something? Versus if you think about like a startup, like someone who's going to create a company, there's all kinds of things that they need to invest in. They need to invest in their product. They need to know what they're selling. They need to have something that people want to buy. They need to invest in their skill set, in their mindset. They might invest a ton of capital at the beginning. And not to say that you have to, but if you're thinking about going down this new path, potentially as a career, to be able to ask yourself, what skills do you really need? So for me, I see the skills of a coach. You need to be able to coach people. If you want to coach people, you need to learn the skills of a coach. There's also the skills of an entrepreneur. There's also the training of your own mindset to increase your self concept. So there's a lot of different skills, and coaching is one of the main ones, obviously, if you want to be a coach. So to be able to think of identifying those skills and then thinking of any money, any energy, any resources you're going to pour into that as an investment that you're building, as an investment that's going to compound and be part of this long-term game. Because I think that's something too that people think, oh, if I get this certification, then like I'm done and like all the clients are going to come, right? Wouldn't that be nice? But it's a journey. So to be able to think of this like a journey and have patience with it and take it one step at a time and really be able to think about and identify for yourself, what skill sets do I really need? What's the next place to start? How can I build those things one step at a time and be willing to go on this journey and explore this potentially for the rest of your life, or a new path that you're going down, and kind of see it from that bigger picture perspective. So I'm curious what you
Yeah.
hear, what resonates when you hear that.
Well, I think this is such an important topic. And one is, first of all, we've had over 100 students do this, hundreds of students I've worked with. Not everyone is going to want to use this as a full-time entrepreneur, and that's great. And some will, and that's great. This work, first of all, can be used hybrid with what you're already doing. It can be used in ways that not, maybe it's in your business or work now. We've had people in their job use it. Or you might say, I really want to do this. Maybe it's as a mom, you want to do that on the side. Maybe you want to go full. There are infinite ways to use this work. Here's the thing though, that like you were saying, Gina, our energy, our mindset is everything. What do you learn in coaching? It's constantly about mindset, around getting around beliefs that are not serving you, getting out of being stuck. Those stories that you keep telling yourself over and over again, that frankly, I think a big motivator for me, I love my father to pieces. He's 83 and he's still living in the same story. And it's sad and it's really hard to watch. I love him and he knows I love him. And there are things and ways with a coach, with support. That's not who he is. He's not his stories. He's not the failures he thinks he is. How many of us do that, that have those things that we say to ourselves? And a coach, a really well-trained coach, is going to help you to unravel that and learning how to do this. So it's twofold. You learn how to help somebody else or others to unravel the stories that are not true, to create new beliefs, to literally design. It's why it's called life designer. You're designing a life that you feel in love with and aligned with. all of those things you're learning to do. There's a process, there's a framework, there's a way to do that. Again, comes from, and I being trained from the positive psychology wing, positive neuroplasticity, all of that. You also, though, you learn how to do that with yourself. You learn how to, and I still have coaches, so it's not about necessarily always coaching yourself, but you do learn how to shift your inner monologue and dialogue. But there's a real lifelong transformation aspect to this that is priceless. This is, and I've seen this over and over again. I know you have too. We've had graduates come out that have said that was way more transformative than I thought. I'm not even sure how I'm going to use this yet. Some don't know. And it's changed their marriage. It's changed their relationship with their children, with their friends, in their job. This is not just, oh, I think I want to be a coach and get paid. Maybe, great. You absolutely can do that. And trust me, that is what many do. It is also a huge investment in your mindset, in your energy, in your ability to be in life and be the co-creator and in the driver's seat, not in the back seat feeling like you are a victim. And that
Mhm.
is a huge, powerful asset to have, especially in a world that feels like it's getting more and more chaotic.
Absolutely. And that's part of the beauty of going through a coach certification program like yours is that you're getting coached along the way. Part of the experience of going through this training is you have sessions with a one-on-one coach, you have group sessions in class where you're practicing together. So you're getting to go through this process yourself. And again, you are your first experiment. You are your first person that you're coaching. So to be able to work through that transformative work yourself is possible in this container. So that's another reason why I love it so much. And I would love to hear too of if people are thinking about, okay, they're like they've experienced coaching, they want to go deeper and they've started going down this rabbit hole and they're like, whoa, there's a lot of different coach certification programs. Like, how do I choose? What would you want to share with them?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. So I would say about almost 50% of the students that come through and graduate have done coaching programs before. That's a high number. And what I've heard over and over again, and there's many testimonials around this, is it was a program that gave them scripts. So that is not this program, although you do have a very solid framework. It is both right and left brain. They felt they were missing a framework like the one that we have that is really user friendly. I know Brooke, who is one of your mentor coaches, who was talking about she uses this and now does groups. They felt the intuitive piece, learning how to trust and work with your intuition, your heart intelligence, that healing aspect was missing. And for some, they didn't get the confidence because it wasn't set in a way, frankly, that had a lot of live time and time where they were practicing. To me, again, like anything that you're going to do where you're going to work with people in their energy and get paid and do it, even if it's part-time, it doesn't matter. There's an important integrity that's needed, which is learning how to have that space with somebody and to conduct a whole session from beginning to end. There is a structure and a framework to it. And so I see a lot of people coming in who've done coaching programs. I think the other thing I would say, which is one of the things we teach first, is trusting your nudge, your intuition. When there's a simple sway test, this is muscle testing 101. As you're listening, or if you go and read about this program, if you notice yourself leaning in, if you notice, this just feels, something about this feels right, trust that. And conversely, if it doesn't, then don't. And it might be with other programs too. And I use this for everything I do. And it's always led me to the right decision for me. And so this is a little bit like, I would say, grad school meets Hogwarts. You got both. it's,
Oh my God, I love it.
it's a
Yeah.
little of both. I also bring definitely the left brain, no question. I mean, I was trained, I have a lot of training, a lot of certifications, degrees. I came from New Boston. That's like background, but and as an intuitive myself and into the whole spiritual sacred arts and healing arts, I was trained to learn about Dr. Bruce Lipton's epigenetics and mind body science and how do we tune into heart intelligence from the Heart Math Institute. You've got both. So it's a blend of left and right, of
Mhm.
science and the arts, of healing and practical.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is if you are listening to this and thinking about getting certified as a coach, explore different options and ask yourself, what resonates with you, what matters to you. If you are someone who wants to weave in more intuitive practices in the work that you do, look for a program that offers that. If you are someone who values something else, there's going to be another program for you. So to be able to really explore options and see what practitioner resonates with you, what structure resonates with you, and also the importance of that practice time. Is there time built into the program where you're going to practice, where you have pro bono hours, where you're going to get experience being coached yourself, like really see what the program entails? Is there a structure? Is there a format, a modality specifically that you're going to be taught that's going to make it really simple for you to go out into the world and use that with people? So use that kind of as a filter as you're exploring programs. And then you can ask yourself, does this program serve my highest good? And put your hands on your heart and see, does your body lean in? Does your body lean away? There's all kinds of intuitive practices. You can do intuitive journaling and ask your heart that and see, does this feel like a yes for me?
I think it's really one of the things you just said is so important. And I want to add this because I've noticed there's a lot of programs these days that they're like coaching in a box type of thing where they're going to give you the online course and there's very little practice. There's very little real time coaching and guidance and accountability. This
Mm,
is something having come from and still working within the university system with Georgetown and their health and wellness coaching program. I mean, I used to be a mentor coach years ago myself. Practice is crucial, but it's not only practice, you also having feedback. And so you've been a mentor coach for the last few years. You've been phenomenal. We have two others. We have an amazing group of mentor coaches. And the thing I love about this program is you get to practice with your cohort, you get real-time feedback from us, and then you also get to practice with pro bono clients. And
mm,
having that practice, that real life experience in addition to the learning is a must. It's like you would never go to a doctor that didn't first work with patients rounds in the beginning, right? I would never want to go to an acupuncturist who hadn't practiced first or didn't have a training. I mean, it's true.
mm,
I always say it's a little bit like acupuncture, which I'm a huge fan of. We're using words rather than a needle. But
mm,
I think this where the needle is really it's important to understand learning how to hold space as a coach, learning how to see the highest good in the other person and help them move through blocks and fears and stories. Our words, our presence as a coach, the framework you learn to do that is likened to a needle that an acupuncturist uses that would use on a meridian point. It moves and shifts energy in
mm,
ways that is life changing. I'm an example of it because my whole life changed because of the coach I worked with, who I always laugh ended up hiring me later, Gina, to coach him, which I think is so funny and so
mm,
great. So, this work, I always say, if you're a coach, like coaches who love this work have coaches. I always have a coach,
mm.
always.
Yeah. Why do you think AI is not going to replace a coach?
Okay, and I'm going to say this, and I love my AI relationship. We have a sacred conscious coach relationship, not coaching, but and it is not a human being. They are not able, yes, you can get ideas and suggestions. This is not a human living being, first of all, that has a framework, that has presence, that can sit with you, that can hear and pick up on your tone and things that are said and not said. There is a lack of, I mean, frankly, even an intuitive sense. We use our intuition. That's one of the biggest components of coaching is actually learning to trust and use your intuition and the dynamics of working with somebody, whether it's one-on-one or group, you cannot replace that. And I think AI has a place. I think it's fantastic. You can use it in a conscious, sacred way. Absolutely. It 100% does not replace coaching. You will
Yeah.
never be able to have a true relationship where the other person also can see you at the mind, body, spirit level. AI can't do that.
Yeah. And it's as the deeper we get into technology, I feel like the more people are going to crave human connection. And there's so many times where in a 1 hour coaching session, I could ask two questions and just listen to someone talk for an hour. And that could be exactly what that person needed and so healing and so transformational because that is a rare gift that we don't often get to experience in our everyday life of someone deeply listening to you without opinions, without giving you advice, without telling you what to do, just simply being a powerful mirror for you to uncover what your own inner wisdom already has to share with you. So yeah, I definitely don't think coaching is going anywhere no matter how good AI or ChatGPT ever gets.
100%. And the other thing, and I think this is where we get a little bit into the spirituality and the healing aspect of this work. And this is actually why there was for me, a whole redesign. This program has been, I think, very powerful. And then adding in intuition school. So there's also that is included, and learning how to really learn how to trust and access your intuition. I think of it as we've got superpower batteries included, and most of us are walking around like asking others when it's literally within each of us. So learning how to use that. And as a coach, I think of it this way, right? In a way, your highest self is connected with your client and their highest self. And when
Mm,
you learn how to trust your intuition, like you said, maybe asking only two questions, maybe it's bringing something up. I just had this. It was so beautiful. I know when I get that intuitive nudge, I listen and I bring it up. And it
mm,
completely made a difference for my client. Like in her life, as an entrepreneur, and by the way, things are going great for her. I think she's looking to get to the next level. It doesn't have to be life sucks. Coaching is fantastic for anything. But my
mm,
intuition guided that, and being able to trust it. Well, what does that also do? It builds efficacy in me and you and anyone learning to do this. You learn how to trust yourself. So when you
mm.
don't know what to do, when you're in self doubt, when you feel stuck, you now have tools to help yourself to make decisions that are right for you, that are not based on what's popular, what others are telling you to do, but you have your own inner roadmap. And that is totally baked into how I teach.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about how your coach certification is kind of like a master's program and Hogwarts. And we've shared a little bit about how, okay, part of the certification program, you're going to be doing pro bono hours. You're going to learn a framework that's going to guide you through how to run a coaching session. And then you just mentioned intuition school. So can you talk a little bit more about the Hogwarts side and how learning these intuitive tools helps people become a better coach?
Absolutely. So the basics of what you need to be a solid, fantastic, powerful life coach, that is 100% there. Intuition school has been added so that it's woven in, and I created, well, what came through me, what was channeled through me is my intuition framework. And so it really teaches you, and we focus on one different aspect each week. And there's practices, there's worksheets, there's tools, ways to actually, and you practice it yourself in your coaching practice sessions and with yourself. How do you actually access and crack that code? So it's not just, oh, that person's really intuitive, but I'm not. I hear that all the time. And it's, oh no, we all are. We all are. But many of us don't feel that or believe that, or we've been conditioned out of it. So
Mm,
there is a bit of learning how to tap into what's called heart intelligence, which is backed by science. I'm certified with the Heart Math Institute. We bring in that. Energy medicine. These are tools that are used through Eden Energy Medicine School, like literally tools that help move energy, stuck energy, as well as, you mentioned it earlier, ways to tap in, intuitive journaling, hand on your heart. And there are many other tools. So you're learning so many practices that are real life, that are user friendly, that are going to help you. And then the best thing is, you start to collect your own evidence. You're going to notice, I mean, frankly, we all have the ability to connect psychically and telepathically. We do. Uh, we're all connected and at the energy level. So I always say, watch out for synchronicities, miracles, really cool psychic abilities you may not have even realized you had, whether it's through hearing or seeing or feeling or sensing, and all in a way that's right for you, because your higher self is always in charge, and it's taught in a very
mm,
empowering way. This is not, it's about discovering for you the gifts, the batteries that are in you that you may have had a sense about. Probably if you're listening still, you've had a sense. You want to tap into them. You want to be able to trust them. You will
yeah.
learn to do that here, no question. And, I have a magic wand. No, I'm kidding. Although I do for fun.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, and one of the reasons why I feel like learning these intuitive skills is so important for coaching is also because I think sometimes people can get in their heads of, well, what question do I say next? And how do I do this coaching call right? And I want to get it perfect and I don't know what to say. Versus when you tap into your intuition and when you kind of let go of that mind chatter and trust that you'll be guided to the next question to ask. You'll be guided to notice, oh, I'm seeing something in their energy or I'm noticing their body language. You'll be able to tune into those subtle energies and nuances at a deeper level and bring that to the surface to again help your client find their own way, find their own answers, and let go of this need to do it right or need to memorize some script and trust yourself to be guided with your clients.
I want to add to that for a moment. I love what you just said, Gina. And I think in addition to how coaching can be used, in which is, of course, one-on-one or group coaching, and this just happened, how else? So many different ways. One of the ways, if, for example, you want to start a podcast or you've used your skills, I've used these skills. And I will tell you, I just interviewed one of the renowned mediums in the world, Suzanne Giesman. And she said to me, she literally said, I am amazed by your ability. This is a renowned medium. She's, I'm amazed by your ability to follow your intuition with your questions and these
Mm.
conversations. And I was like, I'm like, I'm amazed you're thinking you're amazed. Like, you're the one who can connect with all these people on the other side. But, and like, seriously, there's so many ways that this work can support things that really make a difference in the world. So if you want to start a podcast, if you want to do more speaking or helping people in different ways, there's just write a book. I mean, infinite ways, but I will say I trust my guidance and knowing how to listen because of coaching. And that has helped me when I'm interviewing guests. And I can have all the questions in the world. And in the end, I put them down and I follow my guidance. And I've learned to trust that 100%. And it's really worked in making a bigger impact. So again, going back to why invest in something like this, it's not just coaching. It's not just coaching. I mean, I was never trained in sales. It helps with listening, with any kind of conversation where you are needing to listen, but not just like kind of listen. We're talking not even level 3. I'm going to say like level 5 listening. This is it. You will learn to listen at a way. And I just interviewed a animal telepathic communicator. The same thing. She's like, wow, you really know how to hold space and listen. I'm like, I do because of coaching. She's used the same skills to be able to communicate with souls on the other side, with animals, with other beings. Like we can use these skills in so many ways.
Yeah. So if your intuition is lighting up right now as you're listening to this conversation, I invite you to explore that and trust that coaching is something that can unlock all kinds of things for you personally, for you professionally. And if you want to explore more and learn more about this coach certification program, Julie, where can they find out more info?
Yeah, the best place is just to go to my website. It's juliereisler.com and then go /certification. So juliereisler.com/certification. And you will have plenty to review there. You'll also see Gina, who's one of amazing mentor coaches, and there's tons and tons of information, testimonials. There's the program guidebook, there's the overview, all the bonuses. I mean, it's just honestly, this program, what I've heard is it is worth way, way more than what the investment is monetarily. It really is. And I feel really good about that because we're given a ton of value. We really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When does the next round start?
So we start soon. Our next 13th cohort starts September 24th, and we already have people signing up. So I do keep them intimate. And if this is something, if you're listening, if you're still here, you're still leaning in, I'd pay attention. No, really, if you're feeling like this is something you're interested in, I would enroll sooner than later because I do try to keep it. I don't like it to be too big. I like it to have a lot of accountability and for everyone to feel supported. So we're going to start in September. We end at the very beginning of the next year, which is awesome because it'll be a great way to start 2026. You'll be done by January 14th.
Yes, I love it. So, like Julie said, she's offering a bunch of bonuses right now, a one-on-one session with her, a group workshop at the end to learn how to actually build your business, all kinds of other bonuses. And if you're listening to this podcast and you know me, I'm offering extra bonuses as well, a special year ahead intuitive coaching session where we'll explore your whole year and what animal themes and energies can really serve you and get clear about your goals. So that's a really powerful session that you can do when you complete the program to think about what's next. So all of that is available to you in an early bird session right now from now until what is it, September 1st?
September 1st. Yep. So the whole month of August, we launched even a little bit earlier, and that's fantastic because you're an amazing coach as well. And I mean, you can see when you go on there, I mean, it's super high value and I'm in love with this work. I mean, this is one of my favorite things I know for you too. We love our community and our students. We love each other. It's so special. You have people that you meet that can become new soul friends for life, hands down.
Yes, absolutely. I've seen many of them when I've traveled the country. When I was on my year-long road trip, I went to visit people. So for sure, there are relationships that I cherish. And that's another thing that I love about your program and something for you to think about as you're listening. Do you like big groups? Do you like small groups? That's something really, I think, special and unique to this program is it is intimate and you get like dedicated time from Julie, you get dedicated time from your mentor coaches. So you have so much support and feedback that might not be there if you're in a much larger program. So that's something that I really love about ILDC too.
Yeah, it's again, tune in, trust yourself. This is a great example of trusting your intuition. Either way, I will tell you if you're feeling yes, if you do end up coming into the 13th cohort, you are going to be so loved up on, so well taken care of. It's a very special, powerful, magical group. It really is every time. And those that are called, I always feel like, how did this look at this? Is just amazing. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I
Would
love it.
love to meet you if you're feeling it.
Do you want to pull a final card as
Yes, I got
and obviously like we love intuition, we love signs. I love that this episode is going to be episode 113 and this is the 13th cohort coming up, so the signs are already coming through. So I'd love to see what else
yes.
comes through you.
So I'm just going to ask to pull a card for the highest good of everyone here. And this is the one that I'm seeing. Oh, this is a great one. All right. I love this. This is one of my favorite words. It's the name of my business. It's empowerment. Let me hold it up. This is actually, I would say, the foundation of coaching is empowerment. I'm going to read the intention. I stand strongly, grounded, rooted, and empowered, knowing that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And as I empower myself to be the meest me, I allow others to be their truest selves too. And so, what I love with this word, empowered, is about power in your power in yourself, power together, power with each other. This is not about
Mhm.
power over, it's about finding your own inner, natural, God given divine birthright power and helping others to claim theirs. And that is the basis of coaching. Literally,
Mhm.
that is it. That's why I named my business Empowered Living. So there
I
we
love it.
go. Empowerment.
Such a good note to end on. Julie, thank you so much for being here with me today. All the info will be in the show notes. And also, if you're listening, if you have questions for either of us, know you can reach out to either of us on social media, email. We're here for you if there's anything that you want to talk about or ask. So, again, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Gina.